Welcome back to another reaction for the beginning after the end, season 2, episode 5.
よく来たな。話はブラルドから聞いている。ルーカスとイライジャとはもう知り合いなんだってな。
ああ、
俺はレジナルド・バスティオン、A ランクのオーグメンターだ。俺は
Okay, couple
クリオル
augmenter.
マッサー、同じく A ランクのオーグメンターだ。属性は水だ。よろしく。
私はオリバー・ヘムベット A ランクのコンジュラーだ。
I just mistook it. Augmenter were the ones that increase their own ability, and Conjurer is typical mage.
あの石オリバーと言ったか。あいつはアリスと同じでエミッターだ。エミッターがパーティーにいるのは心強い。
Okay, and Emitter is okay. Like Alice.
私はサマンサ A ランクのコンジュラーよ。よろしくお願いします。
Yeah, you are going to be important. One way or another. Because you look like a normal anime character. Meanwhile, the other ones look like the gruffy fighting type.
で、あなたは仮面くん。
僕はノート A ランクのオーグメンターだ。
ジャスミン AA ランクのオーグメンター。
パーティーにもう一人 AA ランクがいて嬉しいよ。やあ、みんな集まってるね。
Mr. Tang.
遅えぞ。
待たせてしまったな。知っての通り、このパーティーのリーダーブラルド・ランドンだ。 AA ランクになりたてのオーグメンターだ。
Oh, newly AA, okay.
その荷物、二人とも次元リングは持ってないのかな。
はい。
You do know those are very expensive, so...
私のところに入れてあげてもいいけれど、サマンサの荷物を預かってるからいっぱいなんだ。じゃあ僕のところに入れる？まだ余裕あるから。これだけ？うん、これで全部。助かるよ。
ありがとう。
I mean, they do trust him. However, we don't really know how much these rings are costing normally. Because even a small one that just to get some basic stuff or have always some basic stuff on you, I feel like you could, again, we don't know how expensive they are. But I imagine you could buy a smaller one where you have like food and water in, and maybe a map or flint and steel, or a combination of those. And later you can buy one that can carry a lot more and have that on a different finger, right? I feel like that would be a good approach instead of trusting someone else to carry your stuff. Especially stuff that is emergency-wise very important. A tent, not as important. A bedroll, not as important. But the food, water, maybe flint and steel, map.
いや。
さて、では出発するとするか。
No.
見知らぬやつ
The king struggles. Okay.
らと組んで私たちがここに来たのはブラルドに誘われたからだ。
最下層に巨大な魔石があるとされているんだ。
魔石？
魔力を増幅させたり、さまざまな動力源になると言われる天然の巨石なんだ。ある人から依頼されて取りに行こうと思っていて、今凄腕の冒険者を集めているんだ。ルーカスとイライジャを知っているだろ？
はい。
彼らも参加することになっていて、ジャスミンと君を勧められたんだ。
ジャスミン、ルーカス、イライジャが参加するというので私もそうすることにした。むしろ
We didn't ask any more questions. Who's his employer? How reliable is that information? This is a little bit suspect.
彼らに何かあってはと思ってのことだ。
あんたらはなんでこのダンジョン攻略に参加したんだ？
えだってブラルドが凄腕の A ランクを集めてるって言うからさ。
はあ？報奨金目当てじゃないのか？
あのさ、俺別に金には困ってないから。
Oh, look at me, I'm so rich. Oh, fuck you.
私も報奨金っていうより難攻不落のダンジョンをクリアして箔をつけたいってのが目的かな。
We know he is rich, but she also doesn't care about the reward. So she also has money. We also know that the Elijah or whatever, he's also from a pretty well-to-do family, right? The only ones that are not doing fantastic are our two fighter, right? Our two main characters here, Jasmine and Note.
はあ、みんな余裕があっていいな。うちは子だくさんだから金が必要なんだよ。
俺もだ。パン屋をやるための資金が必要なんだよな。
Open a bakery, I mean, freshly baked bread is pretty awesome.
目的はいろいろでも同じパーティーの仲間ですからね。まあ力を合わせましょうよ。殿。
ここが入り口だ。では行こうか。
何の変哲もないダンジョンに見えるが、
一応事前に下調べはしておいた。
さすがリーダー、頼もしいわね。
じゃあ最下層までの道順はもう分かってんのか？
If Jasmine and Note were not invited to this, I would be more skeptic, whatever. That maybe this is all a trap. But having two more or less combat-oriented people that don't have a lot of value outside of their skill in here makes it less likely. However, we are a ragtag group of people, adventurers, and seemingly we have not cleared our formation. What if an enemy now appears? What are we doing? Okay, he is the tank. He's going to be at the front, sure. The fighter, augmenter, maybe next to him somewhat. Where the mage is going to stand. Are we going to go for a pincer attack? Are we surrounding the enemy? When are we going to change the tank? I feel like we should maybe have a strategy meeting before we continue.
いや、そこまではいかなかった。とにかくこのまま進んでいけば問題ない。
じゃ楽勝だな。
いや、このダンジョンには不死の生物が住んでいると言われていて、一旦倒した魔物も生き返るらしいんだ。
そんなことってあるのか？
しかもここでは魔物のマナコアも拾えず、いくら戦っても何の得にもならない恐怖の墓地と呼ばれている。
なんだよそれ。
だから戦闘はできる限り効率的に。無駄にマナを消費するな。
一発で仕留めればいいんだろ。
まあまあ、そのくらいにしておけば。
なんだよ。
だってこの前張り切りすぎて。
I mean, fair enough.
あったね。だろ？
うるさい。
Again, he's like, okay, we need to conserve our energy because the enemies here don't really give anything. Then why are we? We just have to hope there is a giant magic crystal at the bottom and then take it. That's all we go for. Because we don't get anything of defeating these guys here. Also, we still have not...
このエリア
We have no strategy. Still.
にはまだ魔物はいないはずだ。
なんだつまんないの。
油断しない方がいいよ。
どうせ入り口近くには大した魔物はいないよ。
やれやれ。
That is what is called a red flag.
相変わらずだな小僧。
バッドランナーだ。
すごい数。かがんで。
マナとスタミナを無駄遣いするな。
でもよ
Oh, a million enemies. Save your mana. What do you mean?
下見に来た時もこんなにいたのかよ。
いや
キリがないな。
ルーカス頼む。僕がフォローする。
Fireball. How much does a fireball do? 66, right? And has a big AoE. I mean, some people are going to die. That is a sacrifice he's willing to make.
助かったよ。でもやりすぎだ。
マナを浪費するなって言ったばかりだろ。
いいだろ仕留めたんだから。
急ごう。こいつらが生き返る前に。イライジャー、壁に階段を作ってくれるか。
Yeah, those... no, thank you. You can go down. I do wonder... Are those going to stay even if he gets defeated? There's always a problem with magic. Because, in this case, if he gets defeated and the stairs disappear because his magic is not supporting them anymore, okay. But what if they stay? Then these stairs are not really magic or magical, but they are physical. Means if he throws a stone with his magic, it should then also be physical, right?
よし、来てくれ。
Nonetheless, I would not go down these
お、大丈夫？
stairs.
私が先に降りよう。もし何かあった時は受け止めてあげるから。
助かる。私高いところ苦手で。
多分あの奥に最下層へと続く通路があるはずだ。
はず？
いや、前に来た時はあったから。
Sure.
とにかく進もうぜ。早くお宝を手にしたいだろ。
それもそうだな。
Again, so we don't know if there's
さ
even
っ
a
きは
magic
俺の魔
crystal.
法で命拾いしたな。
ああ、おかげで助かったよ。
ノート、マナの無駄遣いはしない方がいい。
心配性だな。
罠？おい！罠があるなんて聞いてないぞ。
話が違うじゃないか。
Okay, so we find out what is really going
腕
on.
のいいアドベンチャラーを探してくれれば報酬は弾むよ。
ああ、心当たりがある。
ほう、それは頼もしい。
その恐怖の墓地というダンジョンとはどんなところなんだ？
罠もなく魔物も大したものはいない。ただ名前の通り奴らは不死だ。だから再生できぬよう仕留めることができる凄腕のアドベンチャラーが必要になってくる。君が集めようと思っている連中なら問題ないだろう。
そうだな。
これが最下層までへの地図だ。
罠などないって聞いていた。どうなってる？
So we can then assume the reason his party said no is because they don't trust this guy. But also, I don't know if this is how the anime presents it, but they were saying, hey, he had a falling out more or less with his party because they didn't want to go in here. But now it sounded like he already parted with his party before this guy gave him the more or less this job specific. Also, what is part of the job? What is the goal? Because I would find it a little bit weird if someone was like, yeah, I have this job for you, take this, get this magic crystal, okay. And I'm going to pay you extra if you take skilled adventurers with you. Why are you what? Shouldn't I decide who comes with me? Why are you paying extra for skilled adventurers? Is there a reason?
みんな用心して進も
う。なんか暑くないか？
お前だけだろ。
私もなんか暑いんだけど。
何か変だな。
前に来た時はこんな暑くなかったってことか？
いや、そういうことじゃなくて。
その違和感は前方から漏れ出している強い圧力のことだろう。
なんだろうここ。
ああ、それにこの暑さ。
俺にもわからん。
さっきから聞いてりゃ変なのわからんだろ。お前本当にここに下調べに来たのか？
Clearly not. Also, I feel like this pathway is certain death. Because if one of those vents or whatever they are hits you, I feel like you are going to be scalded really hard. Because that is at least 100 degrees Celsius. Most likely more.
Oi, 正直に答えろ。お前はここに下調べに来たのか？来なかったのか？
依頼人からダンジョンの様子は事細かに聞いて、地図は見せてもらった。バッドランナーは想定済みだったが。
じゃあ罠は？あのでっけえワームは？
それは。
いない。
So essentially, we are going to retreat, right? The whole job is a sham. It was under... If you can't be honest about your side, why we can't trust you. It's just a trust issue. We are risking our life, and we can't do that with someone who is lying to us. So we just go back home, right?
初のマナビーストがいたってことか。
新種のマナビーストがいきなりダンジョンに現れるなんておかしいだろ。
いきなり現れたのではなく、 最初からその情報が隠されていた。だが何の目的で？
私についておいでよ。
え？
ブラルドは嘘つきだ。こいつについていったら魔物の餌食になるのがオチだ。こいつらがワームと戦ってる間にさっさとお宝をいただきに行こう。
でも
いいから早く来い。
First off, the rest of the people should see that this is happening. Second, he's very obsessed with the girl, I guess. A little bit weird. I mean, even his idea, you don't even see the magic crystal. How are you going to get it if you don't even know where it is?
何かがおかしい。
待て！お前らなんかと一緒にここで死ぬのはごめんだ。ダメだ！ルーカス！分かってるよ！ああ！オリバー、中へ！はあ？何を言って
So he's dead. Gotcha.
るんだ！言っただろ！お前！
You forced, or more or less forced the girl in. Why not force him as well? Especially if he was that important or that strong or useful. Why not just force him into the bubble as well? I mean, it's a flesh wound. Maybe you can bandage it. I don't know why he's running over here. But you clearly see bones. And it's like, yeah, no.
Samantha! それを君の杖の宝石と交換するといい。パワーが増すから。
That is why he ran over. It makes sense to plunder. It's the loot. He saw the loot on the ground. He was like, yoink, it's mine.
ここから出よう。
ああ、ノートの言う通り、また噴火が起きる前にここから出るんだ。
How about going back?
クリオル、頼む。
任せろ。
サマンサ、イライジャ、攻撃しろ。
Is his magic? No, it's a ring finger. Damn. For a moment I was like, maybe he uses a middle finger. To be honest, if I had some, it seems like the ring is his medium, I would put it on my middle finger.
Oliver の石、すごい威力。
パワーが足りないのか。ジャスミン、レジナルド、俺と一緒に来い。
Oh, you are here as well. I forgot about you.
俺と一緒に奴の気を引け。
わかった。
その間にレジナルドは奴の眉間にぶち込むんだ。
了解。
ルーカスとノートは奴の弱点を探せ。
あ、
通常の秘魔法は通用しない。ならもっと高温の秘魔法。
What? What? Huh? Are we looking at the same enemy? You have a worm that is in a very hot environment with hot steam coming out, fire eruptions going off, and your idea is normal fire magic not good enough. How about hotter fire magic? How about you go with ice? Or more cold? More water? Cold water? Do thermal shock? Because it's so hot, you cool it down real quick, and then it gets hot real quick again, and you do that a couple times, then it's going to crack, kind of thing. I don't know how reliable that is for organics, but works pretty well on material. But just going, yeah, it's used to hot environments. How about we use even hotter magic?
を使うしかないのか。
How about light?
ノート。
もしかして俺ビビってるのか。ルーカス。ジャスミン。ルーカス。
って逃がしたか。
とはいえこれでしばらくは安心だ。
Also, would the worm be immortal too? Just wondering. By the way, I have no idea what was going on. Stuff happened. They attacked the worm. Hammer hit worm. Flame sword hit worm. Wind blades hit worm. Worm no care. Fire behind worm. We still are like more heat, maybe? Worm escape. That is essentially what I got. And rescue fire guy.
この隙に移動しよ
う。ワームは俺たちを殺そうとしたわけじゃない。奴は噴火までの時間稼ぎをしていたんだ。
ルーカス、バリアを。バカ。
Man, so good that we have this guy with us.
おっと、無事でよかったよ。本当に。余計なことすんなよ。大丈夫か。
うん。ブラルドこそ怪我してない。
急げ。すぐにここを離れるんだ。
頑張れ。
マスカスだ。
Now I'm wondering, why did he even agree to this job? Is there something going on? Does he need some money? Because he could have just not done the job, something else. He's newly a AA adventurer, so he has most likely enough potential jobs to choose from.
これ食べないか。
ありがとう。
旅のお供の俺特製サンドなんだ。どうだい？うまいだろ。
すごく。
クララのレシピだ。
クララ？
俺の婚約者。
Why are you setting a red flag?
じゃあパン屋をするってもしかしてクララさんと一緒に？
まあな。
レシピ。
I see. She's already dead. Gotcha.
すごく美味しかったって伝えておいて。
ああ、きっと喜ぶよ。やめろ。
俺は間違ってない。今回はリーダーが AA ランクのベテランオーグメンターだって言うから参加したんだ。それなのにエミッターを失っただけじゃなくってあんたまで片手を失ってこれからどうすんだよ。
自分こそ大事なところで武器を落として使い物にならなかっただろう。ノートに助けてもらったくせに偉そうに言うな。
うるさい。
だからよ。
This is one of those times you have to just rock his world by punching him. Not because I don't like him. Maybe a little bit. But it's just to do like a hard reset, you know, turn it off and on again. Because we are in a situation where you can't. You have to stay as cool as possible. And be ready to fight. Don't go against one another. It would be best to just retreat, which you should have done like as soon as Emitter died, or whatever it's called. Because you are not going to succeed.
君がさっさとバリアを張っていたら俺の腕もこうは
Also, he should shut up as well.
ならなかった。
俺のせいにするな。
ルーカス、そこまでだ。
なんだよ。
人のミスを責めるのはやめろ。ブラルド、先に進む前に君にも決断してもらいたい。このまま続行するかリタイアか。
We give up?
それと隠し事はしないでほしい。ダンジョンで疑心暗鬼になるのは最悪だ。
このダンジョンを下見したというのは嘘だ。
Really, we never would have guessed.
ここの情報は依頼人から聞いただけで足を踏み入れたことはなかった。
やはりそうか。
みんなを危険な目に遭わせた代償はこれで払ったとは言わないが、だが続行させてほしい。おそらく俺にとってこれが最後のダンジョンとなるだろうから最後までやらせてくれ。
I mean, now you are because you lost your arm, but why are we even in this position? As soon as you saw the traps, you would have been like, okay, I got told, no traps, no specific monsters. Now that there are traps here, it is going to be very difficult to trust your employer. But you still decided to continue. Why?
クエストは中断するべきでしょう。ジャスミンの言う通りよ。その怪我じゃ無理じゃない。
これでも俺は AA ランクのオーグメンターだ。決して誰にも迷惑はかけない。
確かにこの様子じゃ無事に戻れるかも怪しいな。っていうか魔石は本当にあるんだろうな。
What do you mean? Let's say you go down there, you get the magic stone. Good job. How do you get out? You have to get out anyway. So it's not going to get easier to get the magic stone, right? Rarely it's like, oh, the hardest part of a dungeon is the middle part. Most of the time it's the end that is the hardest. So if you already have trouble here, you are going to have a lot of trouble later.
それについては間違いない。頼む。
進むも戻るも地獄か。だったら
分かったよ。
ノート。
その上でリーダーはノートに任せた方がいいと思う。予期せぬ事態に直面した時も君はこの中で一番冷静で見事に対処していた。生まれながらのリーダーだ。どうだ。
Don't agree with that assessment. Sure, he was reacting well, and he was commanding that fire guy is putting up a barrier, but you did the rest of the commanding, right? And that is what you need on the battlefield. You don't need someone who's in the midst and is good at fighting, but not really directing the rest of his group. That is not really the commander. The commander is the one that is going to give the commands while being in a not necessarily totally offensive position. A tank is a good idea, a healer, someone who buffs. Those guys that have a good overview of the battlefield. But I don't know, again, I don't feel like Note showed that he has good leading capacity. We know he is a king or was a king, and that he is able to lead people, most likely, even though he was a puppet. But I feel like he did not really display it here that well.
わかった。
Not even talking about that Fire Guy doesn't want to listen to him, so if you have someone who is not going to listen to you in a high stress situation, you can't be the leader.
最下層へ続く道はこの扉の向こうだと聞いている。
これは。
I mean, at least at the little part we saw did not look too bad. It's not like there were spikes everywhere or whatever. Okay. But all the information you have is untrustworthy. So we are just risking our life for a potential payout, which again, we have not heard why you are so hell-bent on pursuing this. And also, again, I know we want No to be like the leader type character. It would work better if the Fire Guy was not here, because again, you can't be the leader if someone is not listening to you. One person is already enough that can disrupt the whole group. Also, I really hate this archetype of the asshole character that is so full of themselves and is more or less the enemy of our guy, and at some point he's going to redeem himself and we are going to be not buddies, but we are going to work together, and it's like, meh. I also wonder what really happened with the party. Because it sounded like the party dissolved before he even got this job offer. Maybe because the party dissolved, he couldn't get a new party. He got desperate, he needs money, and that is why he got hooked on this job. Otherwise, I don't really know why we did not retreat pretty early on. There were enough red flags where I would have been, maybe we should not be here anymore.